Okay, now let's take a look at the last method, or the fourth method of solving quadratic equation using factoring. And we've done lots of factoring in the class so far, so this is going to be a review. Okay, let's solve this quadratic equation by factoring. Now there's two terms, so this is a binomial. 3x squared minus 9x equals 0. So you're going to factor out what's common in both of these terms. So sometimes I notice you guys doing like trying to do the cross method. This only works for trinomials, where you put the C term and then the middle term. You notice here there is no C term. So you're just going to factor out what's common, kind of like factoring by grouping, but this is only one group. So what's common in 3x squared minus 9x is 3x. We can factor out 3x. That leaves x minus 3 inside the parentheses. And then we have our two factors. So you set 3x equal to 0 and then x minus 3 equal to 0. This factor we divide by 3. And 0 divided by 3 is 0. So we have x equals 0. And then here we add 3 to both sides. So we have x is equal to 3. So we have two solutions, 0 and 3. Okay, number 8, again, solving by factoring x squared equals 6x plus 16. You always have to set it equal to 0 first in order to factor. There's two ways to set equal to 0, right? You can either get this x squared, subtract x squared, or we could subtract the 6x and 16. You want to just leave the x squared alone because you to keep the x squared term positive, right? Keep x squared term positive. And so in order to do that, we have to subtract the 6x and 16. So x squared equals 6x plus 16. We're going to take away the 6x and 16, subtract 6x and 16 from both sides of the equation. So the right-hand side, we get 0. So always look for that smiley face before you factor. So that's the tip. Always set equation equal to 0 first. And then we have x squared minus 6x minus 16. Okay, so now we can do that cross method and see, okay, what multiplies to negative 16, but adds to the middle term, negative 6. So it looks like 8 and 2 multiplies to 16, but we want that to end up being negative 6. We have negative 8 plus 2 gives us negative 6. So those are our factors, x minus 8 and x plus 2 equals 0. So set both of these equal to 0. We have x equals 0 and x is negative 2. So our factor, 8 and negative 2. So our factors are our x-intercepts, or our the x values are 8 and negative 2. Okay, now last problem. We got 4x squared equals 23x plus 35. This is not set equal to 0, so we need to set it equal to 0 first. So again, leave the 4x squared term alone and move over this 23x by subtracting it, subtracting the 35. We subtract the 23x and subtract the 35. From the right-hand side, everything canceled out, so we have 0. And we got 4x squared minus 23x minus 35. And now what we need to do is, well, first we check is everything divisible by 4, and it's not. So we're going to do 4 times negative 35, and then put that on the top of this cross. So we have negative 140, and we want to add to negative 23. So negative 140 is a big number, so this is kind of tricky to do. So I'm going to go over to my calculator. I think I've shown you before how to find factors of negative 140 that add to negative 23. So let's go to our calculator. Okay, so we're on the y equals page, and what you want to type is the negative 140. And then we divide by x. And then head over to table, and this will give you all the different factors of negative 140, and we want to find the one that'll give us negative 23. So 1 negative 140, 2 negative 70, skip over 3 because we don't want decimals. 4 negative 35, 5 and negative 28. So there it is, 5 and negative 28 add up to negative 23. So we have our factors, 5 and negative 23. Okay, so our factors were 5 and negative 28. And right, we know it's good because 5 and negative 28 multiplied to negative 40 and add to negative 23. So now with this type of quadratic equation where your leading coefficient is not a 1, we want to rewrite this into 4 terms. So 4x squared, the negative 23x, we're going to split up into positive 5x and minus 28x minus 35. And this 5x and minus 28x came from these two numbers. Now let's factor by grouping. 4x squared plus 5x minus 28x minus 35. We can factor out an x, leaving us with 4x plus 5. From negative 28x and negative 35, we can factor out a negative 7. This leaves 4x plus 5 equals 0. So our factors are x minus 7 and 4x plus 5 equaling 0. So we set both of these factors equal to 0. So x minus 7 equals 0. We add 7 to both sides. We get x equals 7. Then 4x plus 5 equals 0. We subtract 5 first, giving us 4x equals negative 5. And we divide by 4. We get x is negative 5/4. You could have also, so there's two solutions, 7 and negative 5/4. So I'll write that here. Sometimes I had students ask me, well, could you have written this equation as 4x squared minus 28x plus 5x minus 35? Yes, you could also write it that way too. You know, it's going to give you the same results. From 4x squared minus 28x, we can factor out a 4x. That leaves us with x minus 7. From 5x minus 35, that leaves us with 5x minus 7. So then we get 4x plus 5 in one parentheses and x minus 7. Of course, that's the same two factors that we had done, doing it a different way. So you could also reverse these two numbers. You don't have to keep it in that order that you put it in this cross method. Okay, so that was an overview of factoring. I hope you found this helpful. Again, feel free to contact me whenever you have questions or concerns. I'll see you in the next video.